What's up, everyone? Welcome to my corner of the internet. I'm your host, Ryan Cramer, and this is Crossover Commerce, presented by PingPong Payments, the leading global payments provider helping sellers keep more of their hard-earned money. What is up, everyone? Happy Wednesday. I'm Ryan Cramer, your host of this show, Crossover Commerce. Welcome to episode 92 of Crossover Commerce, presented by PingPong Payments. In today's episode, we have titled it Selling on Walmart, Instacart, and Target, and the different kind of tactics you need to do to stand on this platform. Super exciting. We were taking a little bit of departure from Amazon, just focused on Amazon because there's so many other marketplaces out there that you need to be successful, or you can be successful, I should say, not need, can be successful in the world of e-business. So that's why I brought my guest in today. But before we get going, I wanted to go ahead and say welcome to everyone who is watching us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter. Can't forget about the Twitter peeps. But also, if you're listening to this via download on audio file, you can find us on Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, or anywhere where there is a podcast that exists. That's my goal, is to make sure that this information gets out to all the people in the world to help them level up their business and help them grow their business and get at least 1% better. That's kind of always my mantra, right? Is if I can get 1% better every single day, I think I've had a successful day, and that starts to build in itself. That makes me better. That makes you better. So go ahead and thanks for joining us on that journey to get there. But episode 92, because this is a live episode on social media, this is an interactive way that you can ask your questions. So if you have a question about ads on Walmart or Instacart, or what is Instacart or Target, we'll kind of touch on all the high level information over the course of this next hour or so in order to give you the best insights and tips and tricks to get going and building a brand on those platforms. So if you because this is live, you can comment on your comment on the section below on either Facebook again or YouTube and LinkedIn. We will see all those and make sure that we answer those questions here live. If you're watching this later and you didn't catch us live, you can still put in the questions, and I'll make sure that our guest gets tagged in it, and we'll be able to answer those questions later on down the road as well. So don't feel free to submit your questions, or even just to say hi. We always like to see where people are listening from, or just what their thoughts are on the topic at hand. But about our guest today, she has been working in the shopper marketing programmatic digital landscape for over 10 years and started her digital career at AOL. Prior to that, she sold TV advertising as a national and local sales rep. And it's funny how she says it's funny how TV and now digital, OTT and CTV, everything comes full circle. So I agree with that sentiment as well. She is currently the sales director at a company called Pacvue, the #1 ranked PPC bid management tool for Amazon. And they brought those same capabilities and features to make them also a #1 bid management tool on Walmart, Instacart, and Target, which is why I brought her on today, because I think she has such valuable insight in helping people, especially in the ad world. We've had people, we talked about even yesterday, DSP, and how that's super exciting in terms of off Amazon, on Amazon, and directing traffic to wherever you want to make this point of purchase. But that being said, we want to make sure that we get all those other marketplaces in our fold to make sure that we are getting the best insights into as possible. So we're going to be talking about that today as well. And they also do Amazon DSP and self-serve capability. But welcome to the show, Debbie Levin of Pacvue. Debbie, welcome to Crossover Commerce. How are you?
Thanks, Ryan. So excited to be here today.
Yeah,
Thanks
I know.
For having me.
Of course. Yeah, I kind of reached out to you on a whim because I have been following you, and we kind of reached out right initially, hey, that's good stuff. You're new to Pacvue, but you have such a cool background and different, unique background than, your journey to most people getting on e-commerce. So can you go more in depth of how you got to what your specialty is as a professional, but then how you got to Pacvue? Is that something you could share for us?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really fun journey, starting in broadcast before digital was even a thing. And getting to work at AOL when they had, the disc. So that was fun. But I keep trying to move along with digital as it grows. And, that became RTV, real-time bidding, and programmatic. And then I was in the shopper marketing, and then COVID happened. And I was like, okay, I need to kind of get into the e-com space because everybody's shopping online. And sure. I had a really good friend who was aware of Pacvue and kind of got me connected with them. And it was just a great, way to be in the digital space and be in the lower part of the funnel, because it's all PPC and search and, great audience data they're collecting, obviously, is Amazon. So kind of made my way in here, and I've just been learning all about bid management and search and e-com and the whole ball. Yeah.
But you're also bringing a cool, unique perspective to the space as well, to how that all ties together, which is really cool and unique. And that's why I thought it was fascinating to bring you on, because we're all learning it. It's always changing. So since you're a little bit newer to the e-com space, like I always tell people, it's always changing. Nothing stays stagnant for too long. So we're all learning together constantly. So, just shouting out to people listening all the way from Nigeria. That's awesome. So thank you for, we're reaching globally here on Crossover Commerce. That's awesome. So a little bit about what I wanted to talk about today. You guys kind of touched on a little bit of everything in terms of bid management over at Pacvue. But specifically today, I think it's fascinating to kind of go into each market of Walmart specifically, because as an Amazon seller, everyone knows, hey, that's an opportunity that could be really big for you to sell online as well as in retail. But then also selling with Instacart, which not a lot of people talk about, and then Target as well. So can we break down maybe just an overview of what each one is and how that's super specific and different in each light?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And, the Amazon DSP piece is also interesting. If we want to get to that, we now have our self-serve platform, and, Amazon, of course, can do endemic and non-endemic. So for non-endemic, it's a great way to uncover audiences based on what they're buying and shopping for on Amazon. But yeah, so Walmart, now used to be Walmart.com and Walmart pickup and delivery, and now they've merged the platforms. So it's provided a great way for clients to really reach that Walmart audience fully. So Walmart's a great place to be. They are doing phenomenal during COVID, and I think a lot of those habits are going to continue. So if you have products that people can buy on Walmart.com or pick up and delivery, it's a great place and environment to be. They have a great API, and we can bring in a lot of really unique data that they share. For Instacart, what's really interesting is now they've included like Best Buy, and you've got Vitamin Shop, and you've got Total Wine. So Instacart's not just grocery anymore. So now you have to think about people who want to have stuff bought from Best Buy and delivered to their home. Like, that's a great way to have a TV, 65-inch TV delivered. So Instacart continues to grow in their retail partnerships. So that allows, advertisers now of all different types to be a part of that platform. And they're continuing to grow their contacts. I think maybe even Office Depot's coming on. So it just continues to grow. And then Target is part of Criteo. And Criteo's been working with a lot of different retailers. So they just brought on Target and Shipt. And Macy's is now live. So that's a whole different, retailer genre. And they're looking at, we know on the roadmap is like Lowe's and just other great retail partners. So, right at this point, anybody in any place that wants to use digital can really now access, consumers in a great way.
Right. And each of those platforms serves such a different audience, right? And we can even get a little bit more ingrained. I think it's a little bit easier. Even most recently, we can talk about like with Walmart. If we start there, Walmart just opened up their seller access so that you didn't have to just be United States based. You can be international based. So that's a great opportunity for, China or Chinese sellers or sellers from around the world to sell on their platform. So that being said, and people are, you might see this big initial wave. I'm not sure if you are already, if you see this initial wave of people trying to sell on Walmart. Is that something you guys are seeing the data from, and more people are trying to now hop in and sell on Walmart.com in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, they're just opening it up to sellers everywhere, and it's opened up a lot of inventory, having both platforms combined now, and a lot more placements. And so Walmart's coming out with more placements, which allow brands to really engage with consumers in different ways across the platforms, for sure.
Amazing. Yep. So when you talk about Walmart placement, how is that different? Because we go into depth a lot about Amazon ad placements. Yeah. What's different about Walmart versus what versus like an Amazon, because there's a distinct bidding difference. How can you educate what tips can you tell us on what's different from Walmart versus Amazon?
Yeah, so there's a big difference. Walmart has featured product just like Amazon, and they are going to be opening up a brand unit, kind of like sponsored brands on Amazon. So that's coming. But the biggest difference between Walmart and Amazon is it's a first price auction. So what you bid is what you pay, right? It's not defaulting to the next highest bid with 1 cent. So that's the biggest difference on Walmart. And Walmart has some other interesting qualifications to garner your placements. You have to have a certain organic ranking or on page views in order for them to promote your product. So there is a process that if you're brand new to Walmart, you're going to need to go through to start to gain views on your product so that you can get your featured products ad to be more promoted on the website.
So what's an example? Like if I have a competitor that's selling on Walmart and I'm bidding $1 and they're bidding $1.10 or something like that, will they be, or they're bidding $10? Let's say it's something crazy. Like I'm bidding $1 and they're bidding $10 for that ad. Will they get charged $10 or they're going to get charged $10, which is different from Amazon, correct?
Yeah, it would be $1.01 on Amazon.
Right. So this to me is very specific. So let's make sure we look in the camera and tell everyone this, or speaking to our microphones. Everyone, if you're on Amazon or if you're on Walmart and you're bidding on ads, you yourself, or if you're with a company, do not you have to be careful of your bid strategy, because this is right. Exactly. Because, and I was going to say, if you could tell us maybe a little more example, like maybe just confusion of why people think that if they don't monitor their ad spend, they're going to get hit hard quick and they're going to spend when they don't need to.
It's going to affect their ROAS and their, because they're not going to, it affects everything. So you need to just be really careful. 0.50, 5.0 makes a big difference.
Right. So if you're bidding $1 instead of $1.01 and that $1.01 is going to win, and some people like to just throw out big numbers, like in the supplement space or anything like that, just spend really high money just to win the bid for the ad. Right. It's whoever has the highest amount, and that's what they're taking. And as many clicks as happens, it's all based on clicks, correct? It's not per impressions, right?
Right. No, they're PPC based too, correct?
Okay. So if you're bidding $10 accidentally instead of $1, you're going to get that placement but for $10. But that's super. Is that the right way to do it? Is that something that you think will change in the future? I think that's really confusing if you're new to the platform and you really don't know what's working, what's bidding correctly or what's optimal. Like, is there a way to know that?
Yeah, no, I mean, we don't know if they're going to change it. But that's why, they do have like bid modifiers. So you can increase your bids in like percentages as opposed to like wholesale big, 10, 25, 50 cent increments. So, you just really want to be careful on Walmart.
Awesome.
For sure.
Yeah. And just for people who are just joining the show as well, it came in actually from LinkedIn. Yes, it is possible to ask a question and we will be able to see that, Abney. So excuse me, if that's not correct, go ahead and ask your question. We'll be able to see it and we'll throw it up in here and make sure that we kind of bring any sort of clarification. That's the beauty of the show. It's a live interactive show if there is something specific about each of these platforms. But my job is to kind of facilitate and walk you through that as well. So Walmart, whatever you're
they also have changed their attribution window, which is great.
So what does that mean for people? Can you clarify that?
Yeah, so that means when a user clicks on an ad, they'll track it for up to 14 days. So if it's been purchased. So you will get click-through attribution. They used to do view-through attribution. So if an ad was even viewed and like they bought, so now it's all click-through and view-through attribution. But you don't get credit for a view. That was kind of confusing. So, but now they're all aligned with Amazon on a 14-day attribution window, which is great.
Similar to Amazon, just to kind of like align it with people if they're new to the space. Okay, so similar in that context. Yeah. Do you think it's easier to run your bid management through Walmart, or is it still clunky? Is it like new and fresh and still changing? What's kind of the comparisons between the two? Is it easier to see the data or not as easy? What's your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, you can see it. I'm not as familiar, to be honest, with their platform, because we work through Pacvue's platform. But, I mean, all the data comes through, and I don't know that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. Like you're looking at from one perspective instead of like in the weeds of it all. Very cool. So as an agency, how are you helping people navigate the Walmart waters, if you will? What's kind of the value add there?
Yeah. So what you really want to be able to do, I mean, what Pacvue can help do, or, other softwares, obviously, is help set up like bidding rules, so that, you give the software permission to bid more if if the ACOS is in a range that you're okay with, decrease the bid if we start seeing ACOS get too high. You can set up rules to harvest new keywords, and then if a keyword is in the auto campaign, it can be moved to a manual campaign. Walmart auto campaigns do much better than on Amazon, as a compared, and we tell everybody to run auto campaigns. And then you kind of can take those learnings and build out manual. But on Walmart, auto campaigns also get a lot more placement on the website in different places than a manual campaign. So we definitely recommend auto for Walmart. But, there's just lots of tools you can use to really set up, like guardrails and requirements around the bidding to help really make sure you're staying within your objectives and your KPI goals and metrics. So using the data that we, have coming in to try to really understand what's happening, get visibility into, how keywords are performing, and, really try to manage them and drive more traffic and sales at the end of the day.
Comparatively, how is Walmart doing for your clients if they're selling on both Walmart and Amazon? Is there data you can compare, you can share with us?
I mean, I would just say from a spend perspective, Amazon's still way more. There's just still more.
You're talking about me as a seller I'm going to spend more money to get more sales?
Yeah. I mean, I think people still go into Amazon like a search engine and you end up in Amazon way more just by default. I think Walmart, it's definitely a different mindset. You're going into walmart.com to shop versus Amazon. So we see a lot more scale on Amazon. I think that there's just a lot more people on it. So I do think that at the end of the day, people are still spending a lot more on Amazon than they are on Walmart.
Is there a demographic that you see that's shopping more on Walmart versus on Amazon with your clients, like comparative, like more successes? For example, like if I have a different category that's on both platforms, one is shopping is like moms in the age range of 35 to 55 on Amazon, but on Walmart, it's a different metric. Or are you seeing it's pretty consistent across the board, one platform as the other? Do you hit different demographics depending on the platform?
I would say that for Walmart, if I am working with clients that have a really higher price point item, I would just say I don't know that Walmart's their customer, Walmart customer. So, okay. I mean, we do know people that shop on Walmart are much more price conscious. Okay. So people run on both. I don't know that it's really limited to like a category or an age group, but I would say it's more on the product itself. And if it lends itself to the Walmart audience more than more than anything.
So if I'm a seller, what is my price? What's the sweet spot I'm looking for? Like, is it $35 an item, or what's kind of the like natural sweet spot do you think that you as a company are seeing?
Well, I don't know if it's a sweet spot in price, but compared to your competitors, right? Like if you're coming in with like a leather purse and yours is like 80, but they can get it for 25. Like it's even if you probably priced it at 50, right? An Amazon shopper is going to buy the $25.
You're talking about almost the race to the bottom, right? People are naturally more inclined in Walmart to what's the cheapest option instead of like maybe reviews, rankings, things like that. Is that kind of where you're coming from? Interesting. Yeah.
And I think bulk, you know what I mean? I think people think of Amazon for bulk. So if you're, if you might like be a pest control and you sell, bulk, size, I think like you would at a club, right? So I think that's great for Walmart too, like big, when people are shopping for quantity.
Yeah, like 50 rolls of toilet, like a year ago, we're shopping for like 50 to 100 rolls of pallets of toilet paper. And when you do the math, you're like, how do you need that much toilet paper? Like, Like that was funny. I happen so I bring that up because it was like a year ago today, like the big toilet paper shortage of like 2020 happened or something crazy like that. And I just laughed to myself. I was like, were you a part? They asked, were you a part of that like era? And I was like, oh my gosh, that makes me laugh. But interesting. So yeah, Walmart. So Walmart as a property, does it just extend to just Walmart, or is it also Sam's Club, or like does it bring in inventory from there, or is it just on Walmart?
It's just Walmart. Yeah, if you want Sam's Club or Costco, that's Instacart. I believe they're on Instacart.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we'll before we hop on to, we actually did have that question from Bay. I'm gonna say Bay. Thank you. No problem, Bay. So his question is actually, how can I learn the sales and marketing aspect in actuality? I've known ping pong for the last 2 years. This is more ping pong, so I'll make sure I get to that. Bay, if you have a question about like Instacart, Walmart, Target, I'm more than happy to kind of wrap that up. But in terms of that, we'll stick to this category. That's my fault for not reading the question beforehand. So sorry about that, Debbie. It was a long one, so I was like, this looks good. But anyway, so yeah, if you have a question about ping pong in general, I'm more than happy. We'll make sure we got all of our contact information. You can reach us out directly. We'd be more than happy to answer those questions if we don't get them to today. But if you have one about Walmart, Instacart, or Target, let's keep it to there for sure as well. So that natural progression you talked about is Instacart. Instacart is maybe something that not a lot of people talk about. And to be honest, I actually saw a couple times on LinkedIn that Instacart might be the biggest disruptor in the e-business space in general. And I say e-business because anyone can fulfill online through Instacart or something of the sorts instead of, and this is the example they give. I'm a consumer and of course I can shop on Amazon and get a good price point, but get it in 2 days. Amazon's prime shipping would be a 2-day shipping generally. And I'll say generally because there's outlying factors. If I'm an Instacart and I need something for a birthday party today or an event today, Instacart can maybe give it to me and by end of day or even in a matter of hours. And that's the biggest disruptor of everything in this regards, that they are facilitating hour-long transactions and deliveries instead of a few days, which is neither is not bad, but that's why they said Instacart can be the biggest disruptor in that regards. So the concept of Instacart, who's that going to help out and why is it going to help them be successful in e-business?
Well, it's really helpful for people that have product in stores on the shelves and they're really trying to drive a brick and mortar type sale, right? Because it's not being shipped from anywhere. To your point, a shopper is walking into the store, shopping it and putting it in their car and bringing it to you. So it's great. It's a great place to be if you are really trying to demonstrate, retail, brick and mortar sales, because, brands are always trying to show that power of their brand. So it's a great place to be for sure. And I used Instacart all during COVID and I had never used it before. I think I was really nervous about them picking out my produce and my meat. I wasn't sure. I didn't trust it. And I loved it. And it saved me an hour and a half of my day. So I'm going to stay with it. I definitely will continue to use it.
In Instacart, if I remember correctly, and I always confuse a couple of the different platforms. Instacart sends you text pictures and will update you as you continue on, right? As the shopping continues, they will say hey, this is the product that we have. Is this the one you're looking for? I have these options available if they need to. And it's almost like a dialogue that you're having, or a virtual stand-in, basically a virtual stand-in, if you will.
Yeah, you watch them. You can see how many items they've shopped, and then they'll put on there is this okay as a substitute? And if you asked for grapes and you said 4 pounds, it'll adjust the price. It's pretty amazing, and they handle all of it. And
So I was gonna say, as someone who wants to get integrated with Instacart, if that's more retail stores, retail focused, if I'm a business and I'm really trying to grow my business online, how do you get notified, or how do you tell people hey, you can buy our products online now, through Instacart? What is that process like? If I'm just a retail store, a mom and pop store, or you say retail store, is that as small business owner? have like my goods in store, but I can now deliver through Instacart?
So I think that's more of a Shipt piece.
Okay, we'll keep that.
Yeah,
separate.
because Shipt is separate, but Instacart I think has contracts with like big brands. Like I don't know about like a single retailer, but I mean, I was talking about it recently, with a client about like they wanted to be able to take their digital ad and land it people at Instacart, right, and put the item in their cart. Well, you can't really do that with Instacart because the experience is so different, right? Like when you open up your Instacart app, you put in your current zip code and it'll tell you what stores you can order from, and then you go into that store. So the experience for a consumer is not great if you're trying to digitally bring them to Instacart to put it in their cart. So that'll be interesting to see how they ultimately solve that, because all advertisers want to be able to get that item right from the ad exposure, click to cart. But yeah, so that's a different and interesting thing for like a local person. I don't know, to be honest. I think it's more Shipt, but I don't know.
That's fine. Yeah. So Instacart be more, who's benefiting from this the most? What category? If you can help
grocery and retail for sure.
Okay. So if I'm in the grocery sector, or if I'm making like Ray's baby barbecue sauce or something like that, baby Ray's barbecue sauce, and I really want to feature that, I'm trying to drive like people get it into your home if for barbecues or anything like that. You can get, as a brand, you can start pointing people to say like, hey, get it from your local store. They're advertising on Instacart. Is that how that process works? It's more 1P to advertise on Instacart.
So it's more for us, it's more search. So when you go into Instacart and you type in barbecue sauce, then all the different barbecue sauces you can buy start to come up, right? And so Ray's would want to pay to have Ray's come up to the top.
Gotcha.
And then you would be able to select which one you want, and you just click on it, quantity, and it goes into your cart.
So what's the ad look like? Like for someone who's not experienced in this, is it a big driver of conversion? Is it really helping bring awareness to smaller brands, or?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, you need that consideration right at the top of the page. So if you have a paid ad, if someone puts in barbecue sauce, you definitely want your product to come up to the top, because then you have the most likelihood of it being purchased in consideration. Otherwise, it could be like you could scroll all the way down to see that item come up. So yeah, being paid search on Instacart's a huge thing to get your feature.
Yeah, so in Instacart, you have to go into these retail stores, right? It has to actually first segment has to be in retail stores. So if I'm a third-party seller and I know, for example, I have inventory in not just Walmart, but like in other brick and mortar stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, like you said, whoever's onboarding through there, I can start advertising on those platforms directly, or through Pacvue, of course.
Yes.
And and then start to feature when they're doing actual search function in their search bar, right? So with Instacart, are you getting the same insights that you would with like a Walmart or Amazon of so many people search for this term? You can target specific terms so that your ad appears at the top. What's kind of like the breakdown of the ad platform on Instacart?
Yeah, I mean, you set up like to be targeting by category. You can set up your keywords for your product. Even align it with other things. Like if, I don't know, you sell graham crackers and people buy marshmallows, like you could target marshmallows, right? Maybe someone's buying s'mores, or
so frequently bought with, almost like on Amazon. Okay.
Yeah. So you would just come. Yeah, it's totally search driven. Mm-hmm.
What's a successful maybe example that you've seen drive great results on Instacart, whether it's your client or you've seen other people do it on the platform?
I mean, we just see great conversion rates on Instacart, from a click to a cart perspective. It's fabulous, because those people are in the funnel. Like they are, that is the bottom. They are, if I'm searching barbecue sauce, like I'm buying barbecue sauce. It's just a question of which one. So we see great conversion rates for Instacart. Like they are great.
So not brand loyalty, it's just like exposure. It's like it's not even price point, you would say, either, correct?
Correct.
Or does price matter? Okay. So I'm going to paint a picture for our listeners. So if I'm on Walmart, customer profile, race to the bottom, get the cheapest products and maybe more, in bulk, things like that. So customer mindset of, if I want to be on Walmart, That's probably the audience I'm going for in theory,
Right.
most generally. On Instacart, it's more brand awareness and exposure. Price point doesn't matter, and conversions are significantly higher. Are we talking like 10% more, or like 20? What's kind of a conversion rate that you guys are generally?
It's high. I don't know. I have to think about that. I mean, it's high because it's more. I feel like it's more targeted. Like if I'm buying barbecue sauce, it's I'm definitely, there's not as many things, but you could be looking for a sugar content or whatever, right? So you'll scroll through some of them, look at the nutritional, but you're buying. I don't, on Walmart, it's just a little different. It's probably more price point, but I think on Instacart, it's probably more about the product.
Fantastic. I mean, those are good distinguishing factors that if you're a business company, you need to know like who you're going to talk with, because most often than not, I'm assuming it'd be ideal to be everywhere if you're big enough. But if we're starting on either of these three platforms, maybe it's really important to understand like these are the best conversions, these are the best products that are happening and being sold on these platforms and being successful. So more grocery, I would say Instacart, it sounds like. Is there other like categories that you think are necessities that should start on Instacart, would you say?
I mean, Best Buy's kind of new. I don't know how many people are using
electronics.
it.
More electronics.
Yeah, I know Total Wine's big. We have that grocer in the Southeast, so it's a great way to get alcohol delivered.
You need to get your booze and need to get food and booze like instantly. Yeah. Okay. So when we have clients, or if there's clients that are out there in the food grocery sector, and most often than not, like you said, it's either running to the store or, hey, I'm just so busy, I need to throw this in the cart, get it on over, and it's delivered by an Instacart professional, correct? Like that's how
within 2 hours, right? So it's big. It's instant. Yeah.
Is this so just be clear, because we're an international also business, like we saw people listening in from Nigeria, Instacart, where are they operating from? Just United States markets? Is it expanding?
Now it's mostly in US. Yeah.
Okay. So if you are, but this is the fact of, this is for sellers that could be international selling in the United States, though, correct?
Correct. They can have product here in the US. Yeah.
Is there any limitations or restrictions that you think like doing ads on Instacart? Like, is there any like specific requirements, like spend level, spend amount, or anything like that?
I think they're pretty similar to Walmart, like $50 a day minimum. I think that's pretty similar. And, Instacart does it's kind of natural geo-targeting, because if a store doesn't have your product, they can't advertise it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're only serving 18 locations locally, like you only want to make sure that you're serving that ad, and it's not in like, you're only serving in like Montana, but you're in Wyoming or something like that, like completely different states or something. I don't know why those two states popped in my head, but they did. Here we are. Cool. Fascinating. So Instacart, I've used it before. I just wanted to paint a picture for people who, if this is something where you grow internationally, and this is why I always tout this on all these webinars and talks I go on, Debbie, is you don't want to be the one-legged stool, correct? Like, and I think a lot of my friends and colleagues in the space is you don't want to be the one-legged stool. You want to be diversified if possible, and make sure that you're not relying solely heavily on just Amazon or just Walmart or just on these platforms, because if something happens, you get hijacked, or you have run out of stock, or for some reason your listing just gets shut down, you want to still have that source of income from multiple other places. We've seen that. Like, we've seen that from ping pong. We've seen it from just people talking in the space of they can't get shut down for one reason or another, whether your PPC ad, your bulk file gets uploaded in its incorrect terms that are being bidded on, or your SEO is incorrect and your terms are just, whether it hits like the porn, like I've seen people say like it was flagged for pornography or something like that, or for fertilizer or something crazy, and they like shut it down for days and not weeks. And that's a scary problem to have and think about. Yeah. If you're just selling on one platform, but fascinating. True. So we touched on Walmart, we touched on Instacart, fantastic for their own audiences. Yeah. And we go over to Target, and Target's kind of this weird like nuance, right? I walk into Target and then I walk out and I've spent $150. Like, I don't know. Always. Like, it's almost a guarantee, like in the retail aspect of whether it's the lighting, the product selection, or just like the nature of being in Target. It never used to be this way, but all of a sudden it became this spend palace and no one knew why. So like maybe like what's your perception of like Target? Because for people who don't know, Target technically is an online marketplace. It's not open to everyone though, right? Can you maybe provide some background and clarity on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like with any of the platforms, you have to go through the process of getting your items, your SKUs up, aligned so that Target.com can carry it. I don't even necessarily think it has to be in store, but it has to be, you have to deal with Target and get them to have your products available so that they can advertise them on the website.
Well, this is the interesting data point that I heard is only like 250, maybe even 300 sellers, third-party sellers are selling on .com. So with that being said, how do you as a company work with such a small piece of the pie? Is it just you're not working with a lot of people on Target, or like what's that component like for you as a company?
Yeah, I mean, we've just started because our partnership with Criteo has just been kind of established. So it's a lot of the bigger brands, no question about it, that fit that bill of the, the larger ones. I've talked to a couple of clients actually who want to get on Target, and I've had to turn them over to like, okay, well, you got to work with them to get your SKUs uploaded and set up a business arrangement because, Target's still going to set up credit with the client and, needs to make sure they can bill them for the media. So that all has to be taken care of before you can really start spending money on Target.
So not as a third-party seller, but they're talking about like selling actual goods in retail or online under Target's almost like almost a 1P perspective, correct? Like sold goods to and then sold by Target, correct? They would just be invoiced, like Target would invoice them for the goods, they would resell them then on their platform.
Yeah, because Target.com is probably a lot easier to get on board than in the actual store.
Right. But we're talking, for our sake of this topic, you're working with brands are you allowed to say like which brands and how they're selling and getting going on Target? Because I know on the retail aspect, they're fantastic in terms of what they're doing, continuously growing, and their e-commerce and their e-business sector is really booming as well. And it really stood the test of COVID and a couple other things I think I saw recently in statistics. What's the draw for Target.com and like standing out in those platforms?
Yeah, I think it goes back to like different customers too that would shop at Walmart and that shop at Target, and probably your pickup, like what's closer, what's more convenient, that you can also order from the store and then go get it. So it's just a combination, but I do think Target is newer, obviously, and they're, coming on strong. Everybody loves Target. So it's everybody's getting more, the adoption rate in general is getting so much better to e-com online shopping that now people are going to Target to buy, whereas before that wasn't really a thing. So they're having, like you said, they're having to really build it out and get it going and get their API all set up so that, the data can come back and forth and, people can use that platform obviously to their advantage. But they're pretty new to this space, but they're gonna, I'm sure, accelerate pretty quickly.
Well, this is the thing too, is Target as a marketplace has been around for a couple of years now. I think I want to say 2. That's a decent amount of time to be around. But being as gated, unlike Walmart, where they're now Walmart's accepting everyone now, which is a choice to be had that have significant repercussions, right? You have it's no longer vetted by them as an entity. I mean, it would still be, but anyone can apply and be accepted on. Target is doing the opposite approach. It's almost like a more protective, like brand identity. We want to make sure it comes across as look like you're shopping on or in Target. With that being said, is there are you seeing customers have actually great revenue success on Target versus other channels? Like what's kind of that scalability of Target numbers, if that makes sense, like conversion rates?
I don't really have that. Everybody's really new for us. I mean, it's become before it was like direct. And now that they're letting us have access to it and be able to have people, execute PPC, it's pretty new. So I don't really have a whole bunch of background to speak from on it yet.
Sure,
but
fine.
Everybody's super excited to get up on it. We know that.
So what's the advertisement look like on a Target.com, for example, for a client of yours? Is it a display? Is it video? What are the looks and feels of a Target.com ad, if you will?
Yeah, it's very similar to what you see on Amazon, Walmart. It's all that, featured product ad, and it's PPC. So you go into Target and you type in, summer float raft or whatever, and you're going to get all those ads to come up, and, you want your brand to show up.
So top of page, buy box on the
product.
side, feature products, things like that.
Yeah.
What all ads direct on .com, correct? It's not off of Target or anything.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Right. So far, that's just Amazon DSP.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the fascinating topic you can always chime in on. So you guys are new to DSP, and we can obviously jump in a little bit and get your take on everything. This is the new belle of the ball, if you will. And yesterday I talked with Advance, Joe over at Advance, and he is the co-founder, and he talks DSP in terms of the functionality of. It's just so fascinating, the data sets and the narrowed down nature of how specific it's incredible. In terms of what, as a company's perspective, where are you thinking is where you're going to see more people put more of their money, effort, inventory, where are they going to put most of their eggs in the basket, if you will? Are you guys going to float more DSP? Do you think it's just going to be everyone equally across the board? What's that strategic nature you think you're going to be focused on most, or see clients who want to dive into more?
I mean, we see clients doing both, because we do know that DSP helps drive search, bringing awareness to your product and driving people to your product. And then you can always retarget them with a PPC ad once we know they've been there. But like, to your point, I mean, Amazon has such rich audience data, like what you've browsed, what you've bought, where you've shipped, they know everything. So your audiences that you can build are phenomenal. And then to be able to use that and target people, not only just on websites, but, they have the whole OTT piece now, and they're aligned with Twitch, and, and with cookies crumbling, their first party data.
Look at this. You just did a nice little pun there. Cookies crumbling. I like that. Is that how you guys are selling it now? Cookies are crumbling, so DSP is the way to go.
Well, I mean,
that's a good sales taskback or sales line.
I guess. I mean, first party data is that's key. Their data is key. I mean, is amazing. And
this is the point that we were talking about yesterday. Amazon now went away from allowing in your search term reports or in your Seller Central reports, you no longer get access to address, locations, or any sort of that information anymore. Like, that just went away like a week or two ago. So now creating even lookalike audiences on Amazon doesn't happen with new buyers of your inventory on Amazon, because that data no longer exists. You used to be able to just extract that from the report. That's no problem. So you were used to be able to pull that information away from those reports and build lookalike audiences on Facebook and serve ads towards those marketplaces. But in this regards, you're able to target just based upon Amazon's profile data that they're building through video, building through all their third-party brands, and even on search history on Amazon.com, which is really fantastic. And the point of purchase doesn't have to be made on Amazon; it can be made on different websites as well, which is really cool and unique and intriguing. So, how are you trying to educate people on that regards? Is it just those similar concepts and bullet points, or what other value are you telling your clients? Hey, this is you need to early adopt in this, because this is the most narrowed down focus you can target a customer potentially that exists out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think for any client that's going to be doing any type of programmatic display, that's their goal, then using Amazon DSP is phenomenal. I mean, you can load up, if you have a CRM database, if you have your own, or you want to import, data from an Oracle or any kind of a third party, you can also do that into the Amazon DSP to help align with, if you brought some audiences from somewhere else. you can partner with companies that can help you with offline attribution and offline sales, like an IRI, right? So there's just so much you can do with that DSP. And I've also worked at a company that did, an identity graph thing, and Amazon, they call it, either probabilistic or deterministic data. And Amazon is definitely deterministic because you are logging into your devices, multiple devices, with your email. So it's not just guessing where you live, like they know where you live and what devices belong to you because you're always logging in on them. So then they get all your behavior from everything you're doing on your device.
Right. You're logging in as either an account, or not many people are shopping as guests anymore.
Right.
To be honest with you, they either have a Prime profile or which we're all opting into anyways by paying for it. Similar concept to Walmart now, because you're actually, certain people are opting into Walmart Plus and things like that. Is that something that you think that's why Walmart will get smarter with their data if people are opting into, more profiles, more shopping online? We talked about a customer profile, what that looks like, but I go to Walmart because of me specifically. My shopping experience on Walmart.com is grocery, which is king of lots of things. Like for convenience wise, it was during the pandemic. It was like, oh, who can give me groceries like today or tomorrow or anything like that. So grocery, but then also like on special deals with goods that are One Piece specific. And I say that like a Nintendo Switch or anything like that. It was broadcast on all their media platforms saying, hey, get the best deal on the Switch. Can't get it on Amazon, can't get it, blah, blah, blah. It's all on Walmart. And I swear to God, I spent, and this is the power of maybe a profile, I spent on Black Friday or that Thursday before a solid 3 hours refreshing my browser just to see if I can add to cart. And I did it in less than a minute, and it'd always be like, we're out of inventory. And that was frustrating as an experience, but I knew for a fact this price point, and that's what we talked about, is lowest price point and value. That's where you can get it. And it arrived on my doorstep, not packaged, but it was like straight up just in the box. And I thought that was very interesting, unique how they sent it to you, almost like with Instacart. It's not packaged or branded with Instacart. It's all like in a bag or anything like that. It's fascinating. So now that you've been in it for a little bit, what's kind of your takeaway as an expert almost in these fields of where does the industry continue to grow and innovate?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just going to continue to grow. I mean, Amazon DSP, that to me is more like mid funnel and upper funnel when you're looking for branding and awareness, and you are driving traffic, but at the end of the day, it's more of a branding, middle upper funnel strategy. PPC is always going to be a driver for the lower funnel, and it's great, and it's so accountable. I mean, digital media is just so accountable that it's just going to continue to grow. And I think, the more that we can learn about, I feel like where it's going is being able to connect it with in-store purchase now. Like if you look at something on Walmart and then you don't buy it, but you go to Walmart and you buy it, right? Being able to make that connection that the ad you were served, had something to influence your purchase in store. Now that COVID's finally getting to be a thing of the past, and people are going to start probably shopping. So it'll be really interesting to see now how that is put together. I think, more and more clients need that information. They want that information. I just think it's going to continue to grow. And the adoption rate, just accelerated probably 4 or 5 years ahead of what it normally would have been, I think, due to COVID.
And I'm pro e-business. I think everyone finding different ways to either target different audiences or even grow their brand on an international level or national level, but make it specifically appropriate to targeting different audiences to make sure that their product brings awareness to those specific audiences using data basically for good. Like, for example, if I'm searching for based on price point, or if I'm specifically looking for, holiday or anything like that, I'm looking for something specific. I want to put relevant things instead of using my data against me, if that makes sense. So I think as business grows and people learn to localize better, they learn to translate better, they learn to get online and make shopping experience easier for people. Again, I'm the person, this should be my tagline. We now passed the threshold of online shopping used to be a luxury. Now it's a necessity. So we've passed that threshold now. So that's fantastic what you guys are doing to help them, get that awareness out. I've definitely took away a bunch of nuggets away today to apply to my thought and knowledge on this
Good.
podcast. So, but for Pacvue, for you guys specifically, if they want to learn more information or talk with you, I know we put your email in the comments section. How can they get in touch with you besides that, or how can they learn more?
Great. I mean, you can send me a link in LinkedIn or send me a note on LinkedIn. Happy to send more information if you want to look at what we're doing in the e-com space. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So everyone, again, in the show notes below, if you're listening to this, go ahead and check out. We'll make sure we have the link to Debbie's LinkedIn profile as well. And then her email address will also be on our social media profiles as well. So make sure you check those out again below to get in touch with Debbie. Again, thank you so much for sharing your insights and expertise on these platforms. I think we definitely took away a lot of unique information today. Yeah, no, thanks for having me, Ryan. This has been great. Anytime. We'd love to chat. Yeah, of course. No, this is great. Thank you so much. Yeah. And again, thank you, Debbie, from Pacvue. Again, if this is your first time or your 92nd time for joining us on Crossover Commerce, this is my show where I bring in lots of friends in the e-commerce and the e-business space, both on Amazon and off Amazon, in order to educate you, the online seller, the online business, to help you grow and take your business to the next level. We talked about a lot about Walmart, Instacart, and even Target today, and we also went back into Amazon DSP. It's always something that pulls me back in, and I love getting people's perspective on that regard. So again, thank you for tuning in. For everyone who watched us live, or if you're watching this later on, make sure you hit the notification bell in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm going to say it's right over here. If you're watching this, to be notified of future episodes of Crossover Commerce, because guys, guess what? I go live 4 to 5 times per week in order to give you different insights and talks on the Amazon and e-commerce space. So you don't want to miss an episode. And if you do, make sure you watch it later on, or let us know what you think, or if you have a specific person in mind you want to know more about, go ahead and just reach out to us. Either follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all those different platforms, even Clubhouse. You can follow me. We want people to be understanding it and aware of education in the right way. So that's the goal of the show, and all the options that are available to them, so you can get better as a business moving forward. If you don't know more information about, again, this is presented by PingPong Payments. If you want more information about them, go ahead and click the link below. We help international sellers save when they send or receive international payments on multiple marketplace platforms. So if you're selling online in multiple different platforms, you want to check us out. Make sure that you're saving money and put that towards your bottom line as well. You can sign up for free in that link below. Go and check that out in the show notes as well. But for Crossover Commerce and for Debbie Levin, Pacvue, I'm Ryan Cramer, the host of this show. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Crossover Commerce. Take care, everyone.